of attraction works and you are in the position of being a conscious creator, you can create your own success stories. Today I'm going to teach you 3 easy techniques to create your success story. I'm Carol Tuttle, best-selling author of 6 books, teacher, and healer. I am the creator of healwithcarol.com, where I help you make healing easy, affordable, and quick. So check it out at healwithcarol.com. Years ago, I was in massive debt. My husband and I were in massive debt. We were not bringing in any income, and we were in angst with each other and not very happy. And I had yet to start my business. I was in the early days of starting my energy therapy coaching and private practice. And I built that over the years to be very successful. But what I was learning when it came to the fact that I was a creator, I started to apply to my business. And I started to use the same techniques I was using for my personal life in my business experience. And to this day, I've always been very consciously creating my business and my success story. And so I have been able to go from massive debt to now creating and owning a multi-million-dollar business. And that comes from what they call a bootstrap effort, meaning it's not been done from startup capital. No one ever gave me a bunch of money to now build my business. We've done it off our own efforts to bring income in and keep building off our profits and the capital we create within the company. That's really how businesses used to only be built. The startup thing's a recent occurrence in the business entrepreneurial world in the last couple decades, where most businesses are startups, meaning they get fund people investing and giving them a significant amount of money to now start operating as a business and to invest money in building the business. My father was a bootstrapper. He built a business, a multi-million-dollar business from nothing, and I do come from that in my family history. I learned a lot from him. But I remember the day that I became aware that I was creating my life, and it was kind of a downer and you've got to be kidding me. It was in the same moment, one of the biggest epiphanies I'd ever had in my life, and yet it was also pretty discouraging. So I'm like, it's easier to feel like a victim. And in my book, Remembering Wholeness, which I've sold well over 100,000 copies, I share this in the book on page 29, and I write, I remember when I really woke up to this truth, the truth that we create what we experience. It made me furious, and at the same moment, I experienced one of the most freeing energies I ever felt. I was on my knees pleading with God to help me get on with my life. I felt stuck and needed more strength to overcome the constant struggles in my life. God, or Heavenly Father, as I affectionately refer to the God I believe in, told me in that moment that the reason I kept having struggles was because I kept believing I was a victim in life. I was told that I was creating it, and if I changed my belief and really believed at a cellular level that I was no longer a victim, my life would change completely. I was angered by this feedback because if this were the case, I could no longer blame anyone else for the dysfunction in my life. I liked believing I was a victim who had learned to be a survivor, and that others and circumstances beyond my control were at fault for my struggles. I really knew how to put the blame on God. Weren't most of life's challenges either God trying and proving us or the adversary tempting us? If I were the creator, and I mean the one at some level that influenced everything that had ever and would ever happen to me, then I was creating some pretty messed up scenarios. And I go on to say that once I owned it, I'd say, man, if I'm this good of a creator, think of what I can create if I change my focus. Like, that did hit me. I'm like, well, I'm pretty potent and powerful. So if I just change my attention to what I want, then things can be pretty amazing. And so what I did, I started to practice this, and I want you to put these to practice. The first step is to write out your success story now rather than wait until after you've experienced it. If you were to be able to look back and say, this is the success I created, what would you be saying about it? Now, I did this when I actually published Remembering Wholeness. At the time, it was one of the first print-on-demand books that I partnered with an extension of Barnes & Noble that had a publishing arm for self-published authors like myself. And they did a print-on-demand offering that I worked with and paid $99 to get this book in print, basically. And it was not in the stores nationwide. It was something you could find on Amazon, and you had to be really someone looking for it. It wasn't placed in all the stores. So I wrote out a story about how my book, Remembering Wholeness, was a successful best-selling book, and I was grateful that it had shown up and was placed in all of the Barnes & Nobles nationwide, and that I was so honored by that, and people were able to find it easily, and I wrote out this whole success story. And then the second step is visualize some part of your success story for 17 seconds a day. Now, I learned the 17-second practice from Esther Hicks, which is the Abraham teachings. I started studying the Abraham body of work in the mid-90s, around 95. And the 17 seconds practice is just focus your attention on any piece and part of your success story for 17 seconds. You can even put your timer on your phone, and just when it buzzes, you've done. And as you continue to put your attention in a focused way on what you want to create, the energy forms into the motion to support you in creating that. So I started doing that. I would spend 17 seconds a day on some part of my success story, which was, most of the time it would be, I'd imagine my book, Remembering Wholeness, in every Barnes & Noble in the United States. And I would focus and concentrate on that. And then the third step, inspired action, because once you've set the energy into motion, you'll receive instruction, inspiration, revelation on what action you need to take in order to help support the creation of it. And so what I would do is do the next correct thing. What was I moved to do, prompted to do? Follow the energy. Where is it leading me? And it wasn't this process of trying to figure out what to do. I trusted that I'd be moved to do the next correct thing. And that's all I had to do, is the next correct thing. And maybe it was for that day. And the next day there'd be the next correct thing. But I just worked in the now and followed through. Well, let me tell you what happened. I got a call one day. This is before cell phones became a thing. It was in the early 2000s, about 2001. The book had been published in 2000. It was the first edition of Remembering Wholeness, and I got a call from the marketing division, the VP of marketing for this publishing conglomerate that was part of Barnes & Noble. And he called me and he said, I just wanted to let you know that your title, Remembering Wholeness, was selected as one of our 6 books. You have been chosen as the self-help book that will be placed in every Barnes & Noble nationwide, because they were featuring a book from that particular aspect of their business to help promote it and market that they did print-on-demand publishing. And it was called iUniverse. That was the name of the publishing group that was a partner with Barnes & Noble. And I was like, in that moment, I was like astounded. I marveled at it. And so I sort of have this duality of, well, of course that happened. That's what I was focused on. And wow, I created that. That's amazing. I celebrated that. It just really was like, wow. And my book was put in every Barnes & Noble nationwide for a period of time. So what success story is calling to you? What are you getting insights, hits, visions, downloads for? Write it out. It doesn't have to be exact. All you do is want to get the energy moving and focused on the potential. So write out your success story, visualize some part of it for 17 seconds a day, and then follow through on the inspired action you're called to do. You're going to have an amazing success story, and I'm looking forward to you sharing it here. Thanks for watching today's video. Like the video. How did this help you? Share in a comment and ask any questions you might have. And go to healwithcarol.com and start clearing the blocks and the interferences that you carry both consciously and subconsciously in your energy system so you can open up your energy to create your success story more easily. That's at healwithcarol.com. And thanks for subscribing. We'll see you next week.